Hello my lovely friends, my name is Ava and here are all of the books that I ended up reading in April. I read 20 books in April, which is actually really surprising to me because if y'all saw my last video, I had quite the interesting month and I was doing a lot and not feeling the best. But you can see a common theme with these books. I did not pick up a lot of contemporary in April. I think I maybe read like 2 contemporary books out of the 20, and that is not normal for me. I'm having just a hard time reading contemporary books and not feeling sad. We've been reading more romantasy and more mafia dark this month, and a few historicals as well. So anything but contemporary, really. The first book that I did read this month was actually a contemporary book, and I had to pick it up because I finally got the audiobook in and I was not gonna be missing this opportunity. I've been waiting for this audiobook for months since the book released. So I finally read Out of the Woods by Hannah Bottom Young. I love Hannah so much. Like she's everything. This woman is everything. She is such a fantastic writer, and this book was no exception. I love Out on a Limb so much, and this is somewhat of a companion to Out on a Limb. The heroine from book number 1, Win, these two characters are her best friends, and they've been married since like they just got out of high school, and it's kind of a like marriage in crisis, marriage in trouble, trying to reconnect their love type of romance. So I can't really say too much else because I don't want to spoil it, and I do recommend reading Out on a Limb first, but that's just me. I loved this audiobook, and give me a Caleb any day of the week. Like Caleb is like my type to the T. I want him, like give me him. Same thing with Bo though. Bo is everything as well. Like both these men. Like Hannah knows how to write my type of men. Okay, tropes for this one, you have forced proximity, found family, great banter, and marriage in crisis. I gave this one 5 stars. I wasn't in the contemporary mood, obviously, so I picked up some historicals. I think historicals are great to pick up when you are not in the contemporary mood. So I picked up a few Anne Gracie books. I picked up 2 back-to-back, and then the third one, I guess I could mention now, but I did read it later on in the month, so not necessarily talking about books in chronological order here. So I decided to pick up the Brides of Bel Air Gardens series. The commonality with these books, I've only read the first 3, I think there's 4. The commonality with them is that these houses that are in London, I guess their backyards are all towards this garden, this beautiful garden, and that's how they kind of like know each other, or how the series is connected. The first one in that series is The Scoundrel's Daughter, and there's kind of like 2 heroines of this book. There's mainly one. So our main heroine, Lady Charlton, she was in a very loveless marriage. Her husband was demeaning towards her, wasn't the nicest, and he has died recently, so she's kind of feeling free, right? Until this guy comes to her with these letters that her deceased husband had written about how awful she is, and how he only wants his mistress, just saying like really awful things about her. The guy who showed her these letters, that's her gonna be her blackmailer, tells her like, hey, I won't release these letters to the public if you will sponsor my daughter and make her like a ton miss, basically. So that's what's going on here. And this older gentleman who is in society, he is a widower, and he honestly never expected to get married again. And he takes one look at our heroine and is going to pursue her. He makes that very known towards her. And she's not used to this. She's used to a man being indifferent towards her. She finds herself to be very plain, and she's like, how is this sweet, attractive, caring older guy like interested in me? Like, make it make sense. So anyway, this was a delightful read. I really enjoyed it. Next is The Rake's Daughter. The hero of this story, he is, I think, the new Earl. Like the title has been passed down to him. He was I think the second cousin to the previous Earl, but he's the next man in line. So he gets the title. With that, he has guardianship over the past Earl's daughter. I think she's like 20, 19, still hasn't been married. He's required to help her get onto society and find a husband. With that woman though comes her illegitimate sister, so her bastard sister, and it's his romance with that sister. And that's all I'll say about that one because it's really fun. Oh, and the banter in that one is like chef's kiss. Amazing. So number 3 is The Heiress's Daughter, which is about the in book number 2, I think I mentioned that Earl gets guardianship over kind of like his cousin, and this is her romance, and that's with the guy from book 2's best friend. This heroine finds herself to be very plain compared to her sister, who did get married and engaged and married in the last book. And out of the 2 sisters, she finds herself to be the most plain looking, so she hasn't had the best luck when it comes to men and guys being interested in her for who she actually is, because she has quite a big dowry, a lot of money to inherit. So guys only really want her for one thing, the money. Anyway, Lord Randall, who is the guy from book number 1's best friend, has kind of been like tasked to watch over her, make sure guys aren't out to get her money, but then he ends up falling in love with her instead. I really love this one. I think this one is my favorite, honestly, out of the 3. Tropes for this one. I listed the tropes for this one because this one's my favorite. Oh, it is my favorite. I give it 5 stars. Duh, Avery. So this one has great banter. It's a historical romance. You have an obsessed hero, a rake, a ruined heroine, and it is a slow burn romance. Another book I gave 5 stars to in April was Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This book, y'all. If you know about this book, it's the new Hunger Games book, all about Haymitch's story. And I'm dead. I'm dead. I loved this. I actually listened to this while I was at the gym. It is the perfect gym book because like all time went away. I'm just walking on the treadmill, like listening to this, and it was crazy. It was so good. It's the 50th Hunger Games in the story, and I'm so excited for the movie. Dying for it. That's all I'll say on that one. I don't want to spoil it. It was really good though. I loved my time with it. I decided to pick up some audiobooks that I have on my Audible that I got like 30 in an Audible sale months ago, and I haven't really listened to them, so I decided to pick one up because I had nothing available for me on Libby. So I have King Cobra by Naomi Lucas. This is the second book in her Naga Brides series. These are kind of like post-apocalyptic romances. So the human race hasn't lived on Earth for a while, but they want to re-inhabit Earth. And they're now new inhabitants of the planet. And those are our Naga creatures, guys with snake bodies and like man upper body. I don't know how to describe it, but basically has the lower half of a snake and upper half of a guy, and they're all like different colors. So book number 1, he was red, and this one he's yellow, and he, I guess, is inspired by a cobra because it's called King Cobra. These Naga creatures get in a deal with humans that are orbiting Earth in a spaceship currently. It's like, hey, if you give us human women, we will give you this technology that you really need that's on Earth. Like, okay, great. So that's what each book is about, is one of these human women being traded for this piece of equipment. I honestly don't remember a lot about this book. Could not tell you what the heroine's name is, hero, or what happened in the book, which is totally my fault. I apologize. There are tropes I listed. You have Alpha Hero, Hero Falls First, Kidnapping, Knots, and a Naga creature. I reread Married by Morning by Lisa Kleypas. This is the 4th book in her Hathaway series. I read this for the Hathaways read-along that I do with B, Christy, Rachel, and Tiffany. I'll link them all down below if you're interested, as well as the live show to this. We discussed Married by Morning. It was so fun. We have our last live show for Love in the Afternoon later in May, and I'm hosting that one. I'm really excited. I love that book. And yeah, this is Leo and Catherine's story, if you didn't know. I think this is like my 3rd time reading it. I love them. They're really fun. She was / is the governess to Leo's sisters, and they've always had this banter-filled relationship, as you can see in the other books in the series. The DM basically breaks in this one. Their attraction is unleashed. I read an arc for Cabin Fever by Jack Harbin. Jack Harbin was so sweet and sent me over a copy, and I love Jack Harbin's books. His Beauty, which is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but like the Beast is a beast the whole time. That one is so incredibly fun. So I needed Cabin Fever. I don't really know how to categorize it because it's not just MM. It's like M. There's like the hero, like the main guy, and he is stuck in a cabin with his dad's co-workers. They go on like a retreat every year, and like there's 2 cabins that normally go on this retreat once a year. And normally his dad stays with the guys in cabin number A, and the guys in cabin number B normally all stay together. But the dad, like, I think isn't feeling well. He tells the hero, like, hey, why don't you just take my place? You're not feeling the best right now. Maybe you'll like have some fun. And he's like, okay, great. But he only really knows the guys in cabin B. So he's like, maybe I can just stay in their cabin. So that's what happens. What he doesn't know is every time they go on this retreat, these coworkers all hook up together. And so he's like roped on into that. And like, you don't have to participate if you don't want to, but this is what we do. And he's like, okay, great. No, this will be really fun. So that's basically what this novella is about. I hope I explained that correctly. So he gets with one of the guys individually. They're all together at one point. There's 2 guys at one point. Like, it's a lot going on, but it was fun. It's a fun read. Tropes for this one, you have groups, it's MM, it's a novella, and it is smutty as hell. I read Third Wish by Layla Faye next. This is the book that she has for free, I think on her website, if I'm not mistaken, and I hadn't read it yet, so I did. This is a Jin kind of darkish romance. The heroine is exploring a desert in Egypt and thinking she's gonna find some treasure, and then she finds the hero instead, and he is a djinn. So if you don't know about Layla's books, they're kind of bonkers, so that's kind of what this book was. So this is a djinn romance, monster romance, and you have the toucher and die trope. I was trying to make a dent in my Audible library, like I said before, so next I picked up Desire in His Blood by Zoe Draven. I love Zoe Draven, and this is the first book in her Brides of Kylor series. These are alien romances with aliens that drink blood, so kind of like vampire-esque. I'm gonna be honest, I was going through the loop, like an emotional downhill during the month. I think like midway through the month I was going through it with something, and I don't remember a thing that happened in here other than it's an arranged marriage romance and he's like part vampire. So I did a disservice to this book because I love Zoe Draven's books. I should not have been reading that book at that time because I don't remember a thing about it. So I couldn't tell you if I liked it, if I didn't like it. I can tell you the tropes, so I listed those out, but I honestly could not tell you what this book is about. And so I do need to reread it and then read the other books in the series as well. So that is on me. That is my bad. I was going through it. Something was happening. So tropes that I put down though, you have alien romance, angsty, arranged marriage, dual narration. I love a dual narration audiobook so much. Enemies to lovers, fated mates, hate to love, there are knots, revenge, size difference, slow burn, that's my wife, and a vampire romance. Another one that I was reading when I was like going through it was Prince of Persuasion by Scarlett Scott. Could not tell you what this book is about. I could not. I am so sorry. And I love Scarlett Scott. I love her so much. But again, I was going through it. It was another like downhill moment for me. Couldn't tell you. I think the heroine's a writer, possibly, if I'm not mistaken. That's all I can tell you. Tropes for this one, disguised as a man. So at one point she is disguised as a man and the hero can like clock it in like a second. And I love those romances. So you have historical romance and a sex club. I think he owns a sex club and she maybe wants to go in there to write research on it because she's trying to write a book that takes place in that kind of club. I think that's what that's about. I think so. Sorry, y'all. Then we get into the trilogy that kind of shifted everything for me. I picked up the Monster Trilogy by Reena Kent. I've never read a Reena Kent book ever in my life. And I heard Jess from Peace Love Books absolutely hyping up this trilogy and specifically, and my hoopla had it. Your girl read all 3 of these books in 3 days. Could not stop listening to them. I am kind of like sad that I can't reread them again like for the first time. And I'm also sad that Reena Kent doesn't have any other books like this. Or if she does, correct me, please. Because after I read these, I immediately went to start like her whole entire discography, like go and pick up first book. So I went to pick up, I think, is it Deviant King or Cruel King? The first one in that series. I think it's Deviant King. I don't know. Anyway, I picked up the first book in that like high school. Like I don't love high school explicit romances. I find them so unrealistic to me because your girl was not doing that in high school. Could not be me. So I don't like reading about those. I don't like reading about characters who are underage having sex. That's just not something I enjoy reading, except for the occasional Jessa Kane book because those things are like bonkers crazy and I read them for that specific reason. I picked up that book after finishing this trilogy and DNF'd it, hard DNF'd it. I think 2 hours into the audiobook I was like, no, I'm not doing this. There's also like other girl drama. The drama with her stepsister and her stepmom was like so petty. Like I was like, I don't want this. I want the Monster Trilogy. I want these badass, yearning, longing, die for me mafia romances. If you have books like that aren't even Reena Kent, like give them now, please give them now. But yeah, no, that was not for me. If there's other Reena Kent books I should pick up, please tell me because I will not be reading that series. I'm sorry, I will not be. I don't want to read about high schoolers getting it on. I don't. But anyway, back to the Monster Trilogy. I loved this trilogy so stinking much. It's Mulan inspired. Our heroine is going into the army disguised as a man, has been there for I think like a few years now disguised as a man. No one has found out she's a woman until she gets like a new, I don't know the terminology for things, but like a new guy higher up than her in charge of her, and he can kind of like tell the moment that he meets her like, oh yeah, that's the ass of a woman. And yeah, he's also a part of the mafia, and that's all I'm gonna say. They're They're so deliciously good. So good. Part of them also takes place in Russia, so if you like the Russian mafia, pick these up. They're so good. I have a long list of tropes for you, and these tropes encompass like the series as a whole. I'm talking about the series as a whole right now because I cannot separate them in my mind. They're all one giant book to me. Tropes. Disguised as a man. Dual narration. The audiobooks for these are fantastic because it is dual. Forced proximity. Mafia romance. Obsessed hero. Retellings. Series with the same couple. It's a slow burn romance. And you have the touch her and die trope. I was obsessed with these. Could not put them down. Thank you so much, Jess, for the recommendation. I picked up Charming the Devil by Sarah Blue. This is the second book in the Charming series, which are paranormal, darker romances by Sarah Blue. This one, our heroine goes to a party with her twin sister, and while she's there, she gets this like sense and urge to steal this knife in this very expensive house. And so she does. She brings it home. It's like a dagger knife thing. And it's alluring her to use it. One day she finds out her professor who she's been hooking up with actually has a wife this whole time. She keeps the knife in her like purse in her pocket or whatever because she just has the urge to. She has for years. She goes and confronts him, and he's basically gaslighting her and saying all these horrible things, and she gets the urge to like cut off his finger with the knife, and she does it. And by doing that, the man as a whole dies after she just cuts off his finger. Like, she just wants to cut off the finger with the wedding ring on it, cuts it off, and he turns to ash. He dies. She's like, oh, and that kind of spirals her. She then ends up killing like another person who like deserves it, another person who deserves it, and it leads to something. Okay, she may or may not be fated to be with Lucifer, the devil himself, and that knife is what is linked to his fated mate. So it's a devil romance. He is the devil. Tropes: you have age gap, angsty, it's dark romance. You have demons, the devil, dirty talk for sure, fated mates, good girl is definitely used in here. We have some praise going on. A grumpy hero, I hate everyone in the world but you, kick butt woman, badass heroine, and morally gray hero, and it is a paranormal romance. Next, I picked up The Road King by Abigail Owen. This is a romantasy that a few girls at the book club that I run at the bookstore I work at recommended to me, and I picked it up. It's a dragon shifter romance. It's not really fantasy, it's more paranormal because it takes place on Earth, but the concept is really interesting. The heroine of the story is quadruplet or quintuplet, I don't know the number. Anyway, she's one of many sisters. Her mother is a phoenix, which is like the rarest magical creature to ever exist. And when the phoenix dies, she ends up passing her powers over to her daughter. And there's this dragon king, this evil dragon king that's trying to take the power of the phoenix. This heroine's like on the run, trying not to get captured. And our hero is tasked to like protect her, I guess. And then they end up falling for each other. And he is a dragon shifter, but like the good kind. So tropes to this one: dragon romance, paranormal, and it is a shifter romance. I would continue on with the series. It's not my favorite dragon shifter book I've ever read, but they did say the books get better. Wild Blood by Naomi Lucas is the next book that I picked up. Naomi Lucas wrote that Naga creature book I talked about a few minutes ago. This one is a cyborg romance. That's all I remember, is that there are cyborgs. That's all I know. All I could tell you. I was going through it. My mind was not with me at that point, so could not tell you other than there are cyborgs. And this one, I don't even remember if I liked it or not. Could not tell you. I apologize. One that I did love, that I was obsessed with. This was my gym ebook. So when I'm on like doing cardio or whatever, I will read an ebook. This one was great to read. This is The Bone King and the Starling by Elizabeth Stevens. Elizabeth Stevens has written some of my favorite alien romances, Omegaverse books. Like, I love how she can just dip her toe into literally any type of subgenre. I love that. So this is kind of like a Viking historical in a sense. And the heroine is a starling, which in this world is a slave. The hero is a Viking king, and he is traveling all around the land that he has conquered. He gets to the heroine's land, and the moment that he glimpses her, he's like in his full-on garb, has the helmet over his face. She doesn't know what he looks like, doesn't know who he is, but he ends up saving her from an occurrence with a man. Like, a man was trying to force himself upon her, and he ends up saving her, and she like gives him so much gratitude, like, thank you so much, is very grateful towards him, and is really kind and nice. And the moment that he meets her, he's like, that woman is going to be my wife. He makes it his mission in life to make that woman his, and to save her from this slavery that she's part of, and doesn't even know, like doesn't realize that the whole entire camp that he traveled to, like there's so many slaves, so he's going to free all of them as well. I loved this one. The heroine is great and really depicts a woman who like has never been chosen in her life, and she's shocked when this giant of a man who's like a ruler, most powerful ruler ever, to choose her. She's like, why? And he's like trying to prove to her why. And it is beautiful. I loved it. Tropes for this one, you have barbarians, different social classes. It's a historical romance. Obsessed hero, royalty, touch her and die, Vikings. Both of them are virgins, so you have a virgin heroine and a virgin hero. Another favorite of the month was A Soul to Touch by Opal Rain. This was so good. This is the third book in her Duskwalker Bride series. Like, look at that cover. It's stunning. I love it. Each book in the series takes place in like a world where there are humans, there are demons. Demons eat humans. And then there's also Duskwalkers, which is what the hero is. He's like part human, part demon creature. Anyway, the heroine has been trained her whole life to be a demon slayer. That's what she is. The hero has watched over her entire life, and I don't really want to say anything else. I don't. I do recommend reading all these books in order. This is book number 3. You get the best reading experience out of it, but this one was so incredibly good. I just love the pining and the yearning and the longing, and yeah, you have another woman who has never been chosen by anyone before. And when this guy like chooses her, she's like, why me? Like, I love that trope when he has to like prove to her like why she's freaking amazing. I love that. Tropes for this one, dual narration, another dual narration audiobook, The Good Girl, so praise kink, a kick butt badass woman, monster romance, an obsessed hero, the savior trope, and touch her and die. And the last book that I ended up reading in April is Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. We picked this for our book club at the bookstore that I work at, and it was so fun. That's like the biggest turnout we had. There were like 20 of us like talking about this book. It was so fun. This is like a New Orleans setting, fantasy romance. I don't know what time period it takes place, maybe like the 1800s. The heroine goes into this deadly game called Phantasma to save her sister, who has also entered the games. The heroine is a necromancer, and she has OCD and its own voice representation. It's like my favorite part of the book was the OCD representation, and she has this bad voice in her head like telling her to do all of these things, or she's gonna die, her family's gonna die, whatever. And I loved Kaylee Smith's note at the end saying how like not everyone's OCD is the same, but like this one speaks true to what I've done, like dealt with in my life. And I love own voices representation so freaking much. So anyway, she falls in love with a phantom that's a part of Phantasma, and that's all I'll say. I really enjoyed it though. It did give me like young adult vibes, and so the sex scenes were kind of like jarring because I wasn't really expecting them, because it gave like YA vibes, even though it was kind of like darker nature, people dying, these deadly games or whatever. But like the Hunger Games is dark, the Hunger Games is deadly, but that is not an adult book. You know what I mean? So I do feel like the sex scenes didn't really fit. Like I felt like this could have just been a YA book, but I did like it nonetheless, and I do want to continue on with the series. Tropes for this one, deadly games, romantasy, forced proximity, gothic vibes, mental health representation, and a romance with magic. Anyways, there you have it. Those are all 20 books that I ended up picking up in April. Let me know down below if you read any of these books or if you plan to. And if you don't feel like commenting anything else, you can leave me any flower emoji in the comment section down below. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all soon in my next one. Bye, y'all.